I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilwoman Green,
Present.
Councilwoman DeShane,
Here.
Councilman Hoyt,
Here.
Councilman Wachowski,
Here.
Supervisor Governor.
Here.
This is a legal notice that was posted. It was posted in our Eastwood Press, the town sign board, the post office, and on our website. Public notice, Town of Grafton, State of New York, County of Rensselaer. The Grafton Town Board will be holding a public hearing on April 8, 2024 at 6:45 p.m. to hear public comments on proposed local law number 1 of 2024. The hearing will be held at the Grafton Town Hall, located at 2379 New York, Route 2, Grafton, New York, 12082. Copies of the proposed local laws are available at the Town Hall during regular business hours and online at townofgraftonNewYork.org. Victoria Burdick, Town Clerk.
All right, at this point, I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing. May I have a second?
I'll second. Sorry.
Seconded by Councilman Hoyt. And the town clerk will take a roll call vote to document the
Councilwoman
motion to
Green?
open the hearing. Present.
Councilwoman DeShane,
Here?
Councilwoman Hoyt,
Yes.
Sorry.
Councilman Wachowski, and Supervisor Governor.
Yes. Right. All right, at this point, we will recognize those that wish to speak. Our sign-in sheet starts with Ann Calabro. You have 3 minutes.
Mine's really quick. I'm sorry, but I think it's disingenuous to say that Tom is the only person in town that can perform the duty of building supervisor and code enforcement officer. I think that he should have one job, and that trying to do both is too much. If you want to be the building supervisor and code enforcement, you should do that and drop the town council. That's why Steve dropped his job. I think that you should go with the same method in your head. That's it, thank you.
Okay, next we have Butch Farrell.
Thank you. So I've known Tom for about 45 years. Besides being a friend, Tom's ethics, his generosity, and responsibility to his job and his friends are just a few of his qualities. I've been a home builder in this town for 40 years. My office has been part of this town since 1990. Tom has issued me many permits during that time. He's never showed favoritism, and he's always done things by the book. He's certified and he knows the law. Tom's knowledge and dedication to the town would be, without a doubt, hard to replace. Finding a person that could do a job well these days is hard enough. Tom is a person doing an outstanding job, and he multitasks well. Why would you change that? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We have Bob Loveday.
I'm going to speak at the end. Is there a public comment period at the end of this? No.
Would you like to move your time to the last speaker of the evening?
Yes.
Yes, all right. All right. Jared Bouchard.
I tend to spend a lot more time in this town than most recently. I think Butch put it very, very well, that I'm usually very neutral on things, as he is, but Tom's a very dedicated guy. Certainly has put his heart and soul into keeping up to date with his certifications. They have done a study in town, and we have not seen someone else with those qualifications. So my biggest concern is, besides the fact that he does an excellent job, is the fact that what's it going to cost our town This was not done on purpose. Nobody realized he couldn't have the council position and the inspector position. So what's it gonna cost our town in delays, a room full of contractors that all make their living, you know, with needing someone that comes in on Sundays. You know, I'm here on Sundays working on machines and stuff, and I see Tom's truck because contractor X, I'm looking at a bunch of them come in here on Sunday, and he comes in on Sunday. So is someone else going to be that dedicated, or are we going to have to pay overtime if we have to find a subcontractor to fill his position if that is how it's determined? So I would ask the board to consider, because the fact that passing this later on during the meeting, it's perfectly legal. It's the way to resolve it, the most economically and efficient way. This town needs to keep moving forward. We have so much bickering and so many things that stall stuff. Like, this is the most efficient, cost-effective, and just my opinion as a taxpayer, not so much what I do for a job, is the fact that everything about that just makes sense to please pass it so we can move forward and work on problems in this town that exist. This is just a small town, and it's a hiccup. The Association of Towns has shown us that with a simple vote, we can make this all just work. So as a citizen, not as someone who works for the town, just flat out, I've known Tom for, it's gotta be pushing 30 years. He's just been after it. And like Butch said, are we gonna find someone to do it to this caliber? Maybe they exist. I don't argue that there is a possibility. But in our town, I personally don't know anybody, so I guess I would like to hear the list of options, if I could please, for people in the room. And I don't want any problems with the town board, you know, or anybody in this room. I get along with everybody that's in here that I'm aware of. So please just, I guess some point in this hearing, could we hear the list of options to make a fair decision? But I don't see any other way in my eyes of getting rid of someone that's that dedicated, continuously does many more things. He has way more than 2 jobs. He's continuously with the highway department, running for parts. All right, I get it.
You did good. Thank you. Thank you, Jared. All right, we have Bill Hammersmith.
I'll kind of follow up with Jared there. I've known Tom for many years. And the same thing, I'd call Tom on Sunday night and ask for inspections at 9 o'clock on Monday morning. He says, I'll make it work, I'll see you in the morning. I work with other towns that you call them on Monday morning and they might set up an appointment for you Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday. Most of them are 3 days notice. I don't think I waited for Tom 20 minutes anywhere. And most of the time I drag him in way earlier on my inspections than need be. If it comes down that Tom doesn't do that job anymore, I think it's going to be hard on the town to get somebody in here that's going to cooperate with us guys doing all the bills. There's a lot of us around town that work in town. It's hard enough making a living as it is without having to wait for a building inspector for 2 or 3 days. If you dig a foundation hole, you got to wait for somebody to come look at it for 2 days. It fills up full of water, you're pumping water, you're making a mess, you're costing the homeowner more money. I just don't see it. I mean, I don't think there's very few people in this room that have one job. And anybody that works for themselves has more than one job. I mean, I think our supervisor knows better than the rest of us. You don't wear one hat in town, you wear a dozen different hats to make by, and everybody around town pretty much, knows that. And like I said, I've known Tom for years. He's, he does his inspections, he takes his pictures, he calls me up and says, hey, if you're there today, I'll be there at noontime. He shows up, takes his pictures, and we go on to the next part of the project. And I've never had to ask for favors, and he's never done any favors. If anything, I think he keeps pretty close track of all of us. So appreciate the board, let him do his job and continue onward.
All right, thank you, Bill. We have Liz Dubacher.
Hi, everybody. Bear with me. Tom has been a friend and a great friend of not just mine, but to the communities. My father is unable to attend tonight's meeting, but Tom has been a very, very helpful person. And he's helped the Bird Paradise with many projects over the years, and I don't know if any of you have come to the Bird Paradise and have seen all of these new projects that have been happening over the years. And I really appreciate all of the work from the contractors that are here tonight that not only have went through Tom to be able to do the work, but have done the work at the sanctuary as well. And Tom personally has helped me with a tremendous and huge responsibility with taking over the Paradise. Not only has he answered my phone calls in the middle of the night because I have a question, or has he showed up to the Bird Paradise just to make sure that everything's running right and making sure that I'm capable and I'm handling everything that I need to be able to handle. And I would like to do future projects with Tom. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Liz. Travis Coakley.
Hey guys, I'll just keep it short and sweet. I bought my house in Grafton about 6 years ago. It was bank-owned property. It was vacant for about 5 years. And Tom has done nothing but help me throughout the building process with my own personal house. I started 2 companies out of Grafton, New York. I've done 2 large-scale jobs for the town of Grafton. The only person I've ever called throughout any of my questions in this whole entire town has been Tom Witkuski. He points me in the right direction. He puts me in touch with the correct people. He put me in touch with Jared. He gets me the connections that I need. He makes sure that anything I need is met as a town resident, and then also as a contractor, he's willing to work with me. He goes by my hours. He gave me his personal phone number. Any question, comment, anything I have since I moved here, I've gone through Tom, and I have nothing but great respect for him. And if it's a question of whether he can do both jobs and be qualified and fully invested in both jobs, there's no doubt in my mind that there's not one person in this room that could do a better job at handling the workload of not only being the town inspector, but also being an upstanding town board member. And I think he's also not playing favoritism for anybody in the room, because Tom told me when I bought my house, if you're thinking about cutting corners, don't do it, because you're not gonna get away with it. And this is my 3rd property I bought in Grafton now, and every phone call is, Tom, what do I need to do to make it right? So that's my piece.
Okay, thank you, Travis. We have Tim Jamara.
I worked with Tom for years up here. He's always gone above and beyond to get permits, to help me get permits for inspections. Certainly cares, goes the extra mile for all of us. Certainly doesn't cut any corners, which I wouldn't anyways, but, and I would just add that I think everybody that voted for him for councilman probably knew he was building inspector before they made that vote. And I think he can do both jobs. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Tim. Chris Von Schilgen.
Yeah, thank you. I don't think the issue here is Tom's qualifications. I have a question for the board. I would like to know what the process was in the search for a building inspector and code enforcement officer for the town. Can someone on the board answer that?
We do what we do annually, and that's advertise it as an open position and solicit letters from interested parties.
That was advertised in the paper and online?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And my next question was, in the local law number 1 there, under section 4E number 3, could someone explain that to me? It seems like that suggests that there could be a permissive referendum filed for the law to let the people in the town vote for that law? Is that correct?
Right.
Is that correct?
I didn't understand it that way, but I defer to my board members.
What about the town attorney? He would know that answer.
This is a public hearing. You get to make statements tonight.
Oh, I can't ask questions to the board?
No, you're
There's
not
no
supposed to ask
transparency
questions.
here?
You're not supposed to ask questions. You're supposed to make a statement. Either you're for it or you're against it.
The town board represents the residents
All right.
of the town.
Okay.
Here we
Why
go.
can't we question the procedure?
You can question, but it's a public hearing. You're used to public comment where she
Did
lets...
the town board look outside the town for a qualified candidate to fill the position of building inspector? You don't need to be a resident to be the building inspector. And another issue was that the drafting of the wording in the law, was that done by the complete board, or was that done by the attorney
The
for
Association
the
of Towns sent the form over to us.
Pardon me?
Association of Towns. They sent the
They
form
they
to us.
created the wording of the local law?
They sent the wording to us.
Okay. So you can't answer my question about that, section 4E, number 3, and whether, do you have the law in front of you? Can you read that?
I'm not here to answer questions. Sorry.
Thank you.
The solution is for him to resign his council seat.
Nancy LaRocca.
I know Tom too, and I have nothing against him. The problem I have is holding so many positions and being on the board because now you're your own boss. Yes, we have other board members, but we know what happens with the board. It's always 4-1, 3-2, and it'll continue to be that way. As far as I know, we have not looked any further as far as shared services. I've talked to people in the town of the town of Brunswick that would be good. They said they would do it. They had to. And I think Tom has got enough on his plate with the building inspector and the code enforcement. There's a lot of property around here. If he doesn't have enough to do, there's a lot of property around here that there's junk laying around. They should be removed. There's been people on J. Hakes Road that's had buses and cars and everything all covered half under dirt. Been there for years. Why haven't that been taken care of? You go over the South Road, same thing. There's places that look disgusting and has stuff laying, garbage laying around, so forth. That hasn't been taken care of. This is what part of his job is too. And if he can't handle both jobs, then maybe he doesn't have to be 3. But my biggest problem is that in order for him to do this, he is his own boss. And that was the same thing, the reason why I was against Steve being on the board, and we went through that last year. Steve was on the board. He was the waste management, and the attorney told him when he went to vote that it was okay for him to vote because it was past practice. But past practice doesn't outshut the law. So therefore, he should not have been able to vote just because of the law. And if Tom does keep them both, he's got to make darn sure that he doesn't vote on anything, and I'm sure he's smart enough to know this, vote on anything that has to do with either of those jobs. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Nancy. All right, next we have David Buckley.
Yeah, Board, this has absolutely nothing to do with the person in the job or the person elected. This has to do with the ethical responsibility of these 2 positions. I think it's important to note that the Whitehall doctrine is very specific, and it talks about how how you make this happen. Well, I believe once again the town attorney has erred, because this is for towns that have residency requirements. The town of Grafton does not have a residency requirement for appointed positions, and that is exactly why Mr. Danaher is here, because he is not a resident. So the idea that the Whitehall doctrine can be circumvented when we fail to meet that litmus test tells you that once again I believe he doesn't know what he's doing. Furthermore, somebody did apply for this, and furthermore you can also have a shared services agreement, which we have not done. I also like to remind the people of the town and this board that we didn't have a board of ethics, and you let it go on for 9 months until you found who you wanted. You want to know why no one wants to serve on the ethics board? Because what you do is unethical, and you can't compete with it. Nobody wants to serve in that capacity because of this exactly here. It's not right what you're doing. It's frowned upon. And when you're all alone tonight by yourselves, ask yourselves, is this really a public need or a personal thing you're doing? And I believe that the answer is the latter. So, an honest man's person is his peace of mind. But sleep good tonight, because if you vote in favor of this, you're doing this strictly to personal needs. And I think that's wrong. I yield back the floor.
Thank you, David. The last person to sign up is Mr. Loveday, but we do have,
I don't wish to speak.
all right, I can respect that. We have some letters in support of,
We have somebody back here that wants to say something.
oh,
Yeah, I'm
Oh.
sorry, I didn't know you had to sign up for this.
yes.
Okay, it just seems to me, listening to everybody, that,
Could you write her
Yes,
name
I'll
in?
put her name
Thank
down,
you.
yes.
it seems to me, listening to everybody, that everybody loves Tom. And that's great, and Tom's doing a great job here. But, are other people in the town, do they hold two positions too? Or are special allowances, and this is what this hearing is for, to be made for Tom? And if that's the case, that's not fair. So, I mean, it seems like he's doing a great job at what he's doing, but maybe he shouldn't be on the board. I mean, I don't know. Do other people in the town have, I mean, Steve resigned. Was that the reason why he resigned? I still don't know that answer, and I think it would be the same for Tom or anybody on the board. Nothing against Tom, because it seems everybody likes Tom, and he has a great reputation, and that's great. So maybe he should stay in that capacity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That was Pat Bush. All right, anyone else that didn't sign up that would like to speak? Yeah, Sandy Von Schilligan.
It seems like it's such a logical solution to this. No one is questioning Tom's capabilities, his dedication, etc. Okay, he has a stellar reputation. If there is a conflict between holding the two positions, and we agree he needs to stay as the building inspector, the logical, reasonable solution to this is for him to resign his position on the council. End of conflict. It goes away. It's a very simple solution. That based on the last election, there were 4 people running for 2 seats. And given the recent vacancy, there were at least 5 letters of interest. It seems to me that is the council position is more easily filled by others. And Tom can keep his position as building inspector, etc. It's so logical and so simple.
Great, thank you, Sandy. All right, anyone else before I read these letters? Jimmy Goyer, yes.
Well, Tom has been in this town for a long time. And there's no question in my mind that Tom can do both jobs, or all 3 jobs, whatever way you guys read that. Tom's been in his building inspector. You've heard from the contractors that he's handled all the building inspection and all the, even the junk that everybody is saying is around. I mean, and he's out there more than people realize that he's out there. I mean, he takes jobs on, and I don't think it's a question of whether and Tom's, in his building inspector, the town has got a lot of money invested in him in going to all these schools for many years as he's been in there to keep being certified to be the building inspector. And as councilman, he can handle that too, because he's around town. He's here. The whole thing of this whole thing is, I'll say it, it's all politics.
Amen.
If you set the politics aside, you'll have the guy that he should stay in the job that he has and drop the politics. It'll work out.
Okay, all right, thank you, Chief. Thank you. Yes. Andy?
I think we should wait until Ingrid reads the letters before we have a vote.
We don't vote, but,
You don't vote?
no, not vote. Well, we vote later in the meeting, but
Okay.
the room doesn't vote.
Read the letters first.
Is there anyone else that wants to speak before we read these final letters? This is from Brian Holbritter, Land Surveying and Site Development, to the Town Board, re Tom Lipkuski. Dear board members, I'm writing to express my appreciation for the work that Tom Lipkuski does for your town as building inspector, his past history with the Town Planning Board, and the good he can do for the Town Board. Tom has made working in your town as a licensed land surveyor a pleasurable experience with his common sense approach and commitment to fairness for all parties involved. I don't see how he can be replaced. That's Brian Holbritter. This is from Jonah Vital Wolf and Leah Penniman. They are they are Soulfire Farm. I recently learned that Tom Lithkuski's position as building inspector is in question, and he was removed from the planning board. I unfortunately would not be able to attend the meeting Monday night as we are returning from being out of town, but wanted to send this message of all of our unequivocal support for Tom in both of these positions. We started building our family homestead in Grafton in 2007. Over the past 15 years, we have grown to build an entire commercial campus and education center that we never expected. We have worked closely with Tom for this time to help navigate the building, as well as the county health department, town planning board, and many other official systems. Working with Tom has always been easy, despite building with alternative and unconventional practices at times. He has always been quickly responsive, available on short notice, knowledgeable, willing to learn about things he's not familiar with, and pleasant to work with. The more I've learned what colleagues in other parts of New York deal with, I've grown to more deeply appreciate how much of a benefit to the building process Tom is, rather than a detriment. From a political standpoint, I am atypical of many Grafton residents. For me, this is not a political issue, but rather based on long-standing relationship. I love this about our small town. Relationships are number one. I can say without a doubt that we've been able to grow our farm and family business, in part, because of this collaboration with Tom. I do not know of others' experiences with Tom directly, but would imagine they have been similar. I would venture to say that Grafton has benefited immensely from Tom in this role of building inspector, as well as sitting on the town planning board. And his absence from either of these roles, especially building inspector, would be a great loss and change the relationship-based fabric that weaves our town together and makes us unique. Many thanks for considering this letter and all you do for our town. Jonah Vital Wolf on behalf of Soulfire Farm. And then we have the final letter. This is from John Munn, members of the Grafton Town Council. Please consider my concerns regarding proposed local law number 1 of the year 2024, which is up for a public hearing on April 8th. I'm unable to attend the public hearing due to prior commitments and am providing written comments herein. Although the council has the authority to enact this law, I believe it is not in the public interest, nor in the interest of good governance for the council to do so, and that the finding of public interest as stated by the proposal is in error. The council has failed to responsibly perform due diligence in seeking alternative remedies. The options chosen to enact this local law is the least protective for the citizens to whom you serve. Finding of public interest. Your finding states no other qualified residents are known to exist for the position of building inspector code enforcement officer other than the current sitting councilman. A, there's no requirement that an individual serving the position be a resident. And B, while it may be true that you're currently unaware of no other resident interested in the position, when the job was publicly posted many months ago, at least 2 individuals were interested. 2, accepting Mr. Lithkuski's recusal from voting on town council matters for issues relating to his role as building inspector removes an important board role served in having multiple individuals exercise their discretionary judgment on the town council. In effect, the power in decision-making becomes more concentrated among the remaining deliberating voting members of the council. The finding concludes the public interest would be served best by suspending the Whitehall Doctrine and the Doctrine of Incompatibility with respect to town councilman continuing to act as building inspector due to the fact that Grafton is in a rural area and there are no other qualified and suitable candidates, and Grafton otherwise would find itself without a building inspector. This statement begs the question of whether our rural location is such a hindrance to finding a qualified candidate and how the council defines suitable. Whereas Grafton residency is not a requirement, and whereas the town is a suburban and bedroom community serving the proximate cities of Albany, Rensselaer, and Troy, it's disingenuous to make an argument that we are so remote as to justify an inability to find suitable job applicants. A few additional points. Mr. Lithkuski currently finds himself serving illegally in his dual positions, a situation known to Mr. Lithkuski and the board when Mr. Lithkuski nominated and appointed himself for candidacy to run for office a year ago. That Mr. Lithkuski finds himself in this position is of his own making, and it was his obligation to step down from one of his positions prior to taking his oath of office for his elected seat on the council. The council has failed to perform due diligence in seeking alternative solutions, such as job sharing the position with other towns. A single public notice placed in a poorly read newspaper is hardly an active job search. There are alternative solutions that could be employed, which this board has not openly considered or directed the town supervisor to pursue. And his last point, concentrating the power of the position does not serve the public. Last year, when canvassing I have to read this. Okay. Concentrating the power of the position does not serve the public. Last year, when canvassing as an opponent to Mr. Witkowski for a seat on the council, Mrs. LaRock and I both ran into individuals who were reluctant or would not sign our ballot petitions because they had business or construction projects underway with Mr. Witkowski. It's a position with great influence, authority, and control, and with the potential to impose discretionary and costly mandates on individuals. Concentrating this power can lead to abuse and intimidation, whether real or perceived. This proposal exempts Mr. Witkowski from the law, and in so doing so, the council fails its obligation to provide good governance. Sincerely, John Munn. And then we have a last one. Okay, this one is from Stephen Dean, a consulting engineer from Johnsonville, directed to the town board. It's a recommendation of Mr. Witkowski. To whom it may concern, I have had the distinct pleasure of knowing and working with Tom Witkowski for several years in his role as the Buildings and Code Enforcement Officer for the town of Grafton. Tom has always acted in the best interest of the town and his constituents in the course of his duties, and has been a great source of knowledge regarding building codes and town policies. Tom has always been a responsive agent of the town and always finds a way to treat the town's residents with fairness, consistency, and always with an eye on safety and responsibility. It has come to my attention that Tom is seeking appointment to the Town of Grafton Town Board. I can tell you firsthand, based on my years of experience providing engineering services in a number of different townships, that you truly have a valuable asset in Tom. Therefore, it is my pleasure and honor to recommend him for a position on the Town of Grafton Town Board. Should I be able to provide any additional information on this matter, please do not hesitate to contact me at your convenience. Sincerely, Stephen Dean, Consulting Engineer. And I do believe that is the last letter, yes? Okay. All right.
Ingrid, I know I'm out of line, I didn't sign up, and it's not the time to talk, but
This is Donna Walker, and it's still time to
Can I
talk.
just say one little short thing?
Yeah.
Tom had these other jobs for years. Tom was elected in November to this council position, and it seems to me the town of Grafton made their choice at that time. People talked, people spoke. Tom got elected. That's it.
Okay. All right. At this, yes, is it something that
No, something that I've already said.
you've already said it?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I'm asking that my name be taken off of John's letter. I didn't ask him to put my name in there, and I think that's very unfair to me. I can say what I want to the board and Tom. I don't need anybody else putting my name on it.
I think you sensed my hesitation reading through that. I felt as though it came and that was that, but my apologies for
No, that's
trying
okay.
to do a quick
I
edit
just
on
don't
it.
like somebody else
All right.
looking for me.
All right, at this point of the meeting, I'm going to ask if anyone else would like to speak. Is there anyone else that would like to be heard? Does anyone else have anything to say? All right, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing. May I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. I think it's a roll call.
Roll call vote, please.
Roll call, yeah.
Councilwoman Green?
Yes.
Councilwoman Shane?
Yes.
Councilman White?
Yes.
Councilman Witkowski?
Abstain.
And Supervisor Gondel?
Yes.
Madam Supervisor, I note the public hearing was closed at 7:24 PM, for the record.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Counselor. And my understanding is we can segue into our business of the evening. Our
Absolutely.
regular town
The
board
only
meeting.
thing the clerk should note is the attendance of the town board members remains the same as it was for the public hearing.
All right. Got that back? Yeah. All right, great. We've said the pledge once. Do we feel compelled to say it again?
Normally you do
We're
not.
good? No, normally we do not? Okay. I like to say it as many times as I can.
You can.
All right. Okay.
Just want to let you know
All right, I'd like to open up with some supervisors' announcements. We've made some, or I have made some revised supervisors' committee appointments for, effective this evening, to address the recent seating of Councilwoman Green. So our Public Safety Committee, which handles ambulance and fire, it will be Councilwoman Green and Councilman Witkowski. Buildings and Grounds will be Councilwoman Green and Councilman Witkowski. Street Lighting, again, Councilwoman Green and Councilman Witkowski. The Budget Committee will be Councilwoman Green and Councilman Hoyt. Human Resources will be Councilwoman Green and Councilman Hoyt. And Veterans will be Councilwoman Green and Councilman Hoyt. Parks and Cemeteries will be Councilwoman DeShane and Councilwoman Green. Highway will be Councilwoman DeShane and Councilman Witkowski. Recycling will be Councilwoman DeShane and Councilman Witkowski. The Senior Committee will be Councilwoman DeShane and Councilman Witkowski. Youth is Councilwoman DeShane and Councilman Hoyt. Recreation is Councilwoman DeShane and Councilman Hoyt. And Municipal Grants Committee will be Councilwoman DeShane and Councilman Hoyt. And you ladies may have noticed that I put you on 7 committees and the gentleman on 6, but if you want something done, you find a busy woman to do it. So, all right. So thank you for your service to that. I would just like to say that the Rensselaer County Hazardous Mitigation Program that's underway is, we're still working on that. We're putting plans together. There's a meeting coming up, I believe it's May 3rd, I believe, and we're still pushing the paperwork forward with that to be in compliance with the, I think it's every 5 years they update this hazardous mitigation plan. In response to letters that were written to Elaine Balchinian of the New York State Parks and Historic Preservation with regard to the condition of the dams in town, we actually have a meeting scheduled for Wednesday. It's going to be over at the Welcome Center at the Town Park. We'll have some state representatives, some local representatives, and the people from the state park.
This Wednesday?
Yes, this Wednesday. Yep, Wednesday the 10th at 9 a.m.
State Park.
Yes, Grafton State Park, yes, at the new Welcome Center. I'm gratified by this. I'm gratified by the response that the state gave in response to our concerns about what could be catastrophic problems with the dams in town if we were to have some structural issues. I think that's it for supervisor's announcements right off the bat.
Madam Supervisor,
Yes.
I think we might have skipped the approval of minutes, but I'm not positive.
We didn't yet. We
Oh, you
didn't
did
quite
not?
yet. No, not quite yet.
Okay.
But I had just made a few more announcements.
I saw your
Okay.
town supervisor's reports down below. That's
Gotcha.
what
Yes.
threw me.
No.
Okay.
I do. Those were submitted to the town clerk. I think we got them on March 4th from the bookkeeper, and they're on file. They're online and available in paper copies as well. Okay, now we can do the review and approval of the minutes from the March 11th meeting. I trust you all have had time to look them over, and I'd like to make a motion to approve the town clerk's minutes from March.
Madam Supervisor?
Yes.
There was 3 corrections I made to those minutes.
Okay.
The roll call was inserted on Resolution 36 that was missing. There's a typo error on the time of the meeting, and the spelling of one of the defendants' names I corrected, Kara Benson.
Okay. Okay.
So you're moving it as corrected?
Right. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the corrected meeting minutes of March 11th. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Councilwoman DeShane.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShane,
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilman Witkowski,
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. All right, the town clerk's report. I just announced that the reports were put on file.
Town
and they're
clerk
available.
fees
Yes. they're
brought in
available.
$171.38. Planning board was $150. Trash and recycling brought in $1,969.64. Building and code enforcement, which would be building permits, was $1,062.50. The total revenue for the month was $3,386.14. After paying Encon and Aga Markets, the check that went to the town supervisor was $3,353.52.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to accept the town clerk's report. May I have a second?
Second.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShane,
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilman Kuski,
Yes.
and Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. Okay, highway superintendent. Can I ask a question? Just, excuse me, Jerry.
No, that's okay.
On the supervisor report, I'm sorry that I missed that, because we were voting on the town minutes. I just had, can we do a workshop to go over the supervisor's report? Because, like, Jody, I just have questions. We all have questions.
Absolutely, yeah. I knew from, yeah. Sure. How about when Wendy is back from vacation, the bookkeeper, we schedule her to sit and go over the reports? Is that all right? That'd be good? Yeah?
Yeah, okay, but we would have to do a workshop, correct? So that we could all be present if we wanted to be.
If we all wanted to be, yes. If it was just the two of you and the bookkeeper, then that's a different story. We could just have a meeting.
Do you guys want to be, because Tom had, do you want to be involved?
We want to do a workshop where we're all on the same page and be fine.
Good with the workshop.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So I don't know when Wendy would be available.
I will let you know as soon as she is. She's just gone on vacation, so as soon as she's back, we'll make her available.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, highway superintendent.
So we've been out patching roads, had everything in pretty good shape, and then everybody knows what happened last week with the storm. So we'll be back out patching roads. The guys were out raking and doing things while it's soft. We'll be around. We got piles and piles of trees and debris. If you guys got it out by your road, we'll be there to get it, cleaning ditches and using machines, because the piles are just massive in some spots from an 80-mile-an-hour windstorm that we're all not used to. Other than that, I think the roads aren't too bad. The graders will be out as soon as we get the storm damage cleaned up and things dry up. The snow seems to be receding pretty fast. The graders will be fired up. They're ready to go. The rakes are ready to go. The roller's ready to go. The trucks are ready to go. So all that shouldn't be a problem. We'll be right after we get the roads graded up as soon as Mother Nature isn't so miserable. Otherwise, I really don't have much to report. Yeah, I got a broken leg, but of all this, I missed 3 days of work on the whole deal, and I haven't taken a vacation in 4 years, so you got me. Or I got you, I guess. I got you for 3 days. The one thing I forgot to add to the agenda, I apologize to Vicki, because she does a great job and is always on top of things. I just flat out forgot because I've had a lot of stuff going on with the storm and whatnot. I tried to give her some heads up, but I would like to ask the board to approve putting because we bought a couple new pickups this year. We got a 2010 truck that we have to leave it inside because it just, when it sits outside, it breaks down because it gets moisture in it. It's just old. And a 1974 old mowing tractor. I'd just like to approve to send that stuff to auction. We need the room in the garage to put the newer stuff, and I don't like junk laying around. I just assume keep the place looking fantastic and neat. And we could use a couple bucks to just, offset a little bit of the cost of the new vehicles. There's no point in keeping old stuff. So I'm pretty sure, as I was talking to Phil earlier, that we could do it as a...
Later in the meeting, what they've been doing on emergency stuff like that is a motion to approve declaring the item surplus and approving sale under the guidance of the highway superintendent through an online auction.
Sweet. So
If somebody's willing to offer that later.
That's pretty much all I have. Otherwise, everything's good in my world.
Great, okay, thank you, Jared. Jared, have you heard anything more about the culvert pipe? Anything that Spencer County Water Conservation?
I haven't talked to them. Actually, they sent me an email that they were going to have a video conference on it, and I hate to use this as an excuse, but the God's honest truth is I had a surgery appointment. And I just didn't I didn't make it. So I know Megan well. I can get a hold of her. They're an easy group to get a hold of. So by the next meeting, I will give everybody an update to see where we're at with that. But as far as I know, there's nothing been determined on it. They were pretty much doing a study. There was no approvals. There was no like starting construction on anything in any of the towns that I'm aware of. So I will reach out to them and have a better answer for you. No problem at all.
Okay, the assessor's report.
I want them to pay for these big properties. Yeah.
The assessor's report for April, or I'm sorry, for March. Reviewing properties in the field, meeting with taxpayers, holding office hours, going over new construction permits. All the new sales have been key punched. He's reviewing exemptions. He published a legal notice, and all the escrows have been processed. All right, building and codes enforcement officer.
We have 13 building permits out here to date. Looks like another year of new construction is going to be very robust again. The roads are dry now, the yards are getting dry, so we will be going out sending letters for unregistered vehicles. You can have one. There's some other places that we're going to be addressing in town. They're in danger of coming down or need some serious attention. We'll be taking a course in April, continuing education, 4-hour course.
Is that online, or do you have to?
No, we do code.
Okay, all right, thank you, Tom. Thank you. Planning board chairman, I don't see a report from Martha tonight. Got a meeting Monday?
Meeting Monday, nothing going on besides passing the previous minutes. So it's been slowest part of the year.
Do we have any, is Dollar General still seeking Grafton for a location?
Dollar General approached me, okay, so it's not going to be out the car lot or anything else, and I said I was not interested. They wanted an area up in town. Number one, I don't particularly want it. I would never do that to Tom and Lynn. They put their heart and soul and life into that store. There's 15 minutes away to Berlin. There's 20 minutes away to, it's an outside company. And they sent me all the plans, designs, and I told them I was not interested at all.
Well, that's what I wanted to hear that.
And also I had another storage company approach me to buy the entire property for a very large sum of money to do climate control and fill the field with it. I said, I'm not interested.
Okay, rescue squad, Captain Sullivan has sent me a text that he is working and not able to be here this evening. Nobody else is here from the squad now, okay. All right, dog control officer?
I had one call, picked up 2 dogs on Dyke and Pond Road, returned them to the owner on top of Berlin Mountain. I put in approximately 50 miles in 4 hours locating the owners and returning them.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, the recreation committee?
Okay, we had, last week, I think it was, we had the Easter egg hunt. It went over very well. We had about 35 kids there. People have been asking, why isn't there pictures of the kids and all that? As far as I know, you cannot put pictures up with the kids without the parents' permission. We had a couple of parents that gave us permission, but nobody else did. Okay, so that's the reason why there's no pictures up, only a few. It was crazy because Donna had mentioned possibly we started a little bit earlier, and we might have. I don't know what time it was. I know we were there until about 20 of 12. But what we did is that in 15 minutes the kids had 500 eggs picked up. It was crazy. So we threw more down. I would like to thank Ingrid and Pierce for the help and Tom for your support for coming. Appreciate it very much. Now we're going to be starting to work on the picnic. We're having a meeting, when do we have a meeting this month? Right, I gotta have a meeting with Jane from Gray Whack, and that's gonna be as soon as I can get a hold of her, which shouldn't be too hard. And then we're gonna have another meeting, just us, just to figure out what else we're gonna do this year. People have complained that there's not a schedule out there as to what we're gonna do. Well, that's because we don't have bands that we have to pay down payment on, and we're trying to have things that people are interested in and get more people there. We did it last year, you know, as we came up with the plan, we told you guys, we told the town, we got the pamphlets out. If there's a problem with that, I asked the board to let us know, and we'll do it differently. Other than that, we had a great time. The kids were so cute. A lot of them were the younger kids, and they were so darn cute. And we had a lot of people take pictures of their kids with the Easter Bunny. Amanda Gedner, thank you, was our Easter Bunny, and it really, the kids were so excited when they saw the Easter Bunny. I thought they were going to jump through the windshield to get out of the cars because they were sitting and waiting for us to start. So that's about it for now.
Great, okay,
That
thank
was the
you.
cutest Easter bunny ever.
She did a really, really nice job too.
Okay, great, very nice. Thank you. Thanks for all the work you ladies put into that. All right, the community library. Hi, Leanna.
Hi. Okay, so the statistics for March, for checkout for books, 565 hardcover books, 309 ebooks. Patron visits, 298 adults, 5 teens, 73 children. Program attendance, 105 adults, 53 children ages 6 to 11, 36 children ages 0 to 6, or 0 to 5. We did receive the $800 Stewart's Grant for working in the children's section of the library. It has to be used for children. Ingrid submitted a note to our treasurer about unclaimed funds that were in the library. We also had some patrons that mentioned that there was something in the state of New York that said there was unclaimed funds under the library. So we filled out the paperwork for that. Haven't heard back how much it is. We think it's just a small thing from an insurance company. It'd be nice if there was more, but we don't think it is. We're working on Run for the Roses, which is its 37th year. I don't know if anybody's driven past the library in the last week, but we're working on the septic field and the leach field. So you'll see work down there. It was closed one day in March for the ice storm. We're starting a seed program. We're using our old card catalogs. We purchased some seeds. We've had a bunch of seeds donated. We've repackaged them. We've got a flyer that's going out this week for people to stop in and get seeds. And we had the Eclipse program today. So 35 to 40 families, kids, had a great time. So I think that's it.
I did get your permit to construct from the health.
We did. We got the permit
got
for
it.
the health
Yeah,
department,
you're
yes.
all set.
Actually, we had, it failed on Thursday night, and we had it back up and running on a Saturday.
Thank you. Excuse me, can I get you, I forgot to thank the library also, because they were also involved with the Easter egg hunt. So I thank the Grafton Library for putting stuff in and also helping us. Apologize, sorry, I missed it.
Great. It helps when one of your rec committee members is the library lady. Perfect. All right, the Merrymakers. I see Mrs. Boyer here. Welcome back.
Welcome. Thank you. Nothing much new other than what Linda's been reporting. Our first meeting is this Wednesday. First meeting for 2024 is this Wednesday, and we hope to plan out the schedule for this year.
What time's your meeting?
5:30.
5:30, and then you.
Well, 5:30 is sort of our dinner, and then the meeting itself is 6:30.
Okay.
6:15.
6:15. Okay, and everyone 55 and older is welcome.
55 and older, yes.
Great, and that's at the Everett Wager Senior Center.
Yes.
Great. Okay, thank you, Kathy. And the senior citizen representative. This was submitted from Diane Payne. Their monthly meeting is tomorrow, April 9th at 10 a.m. At the March meeting, there was discussion on the topic of a donation in honor of Gunny Gundrum for his birthday. After talking with Gunny and doing some research, Tunnel to Towers Foundation was chosen. Between the Grafton Senior Group and other donations, a $100 check will be sent. Some members are participating in a biography project with the Berlin Elementary ambassadors. There are 2 dates in April and 1 in May for these interviews. We look forward to meeting with the students and staff for an interesting and educational opportunity. A list of different opportunities offered in the local and surrounding area is something new. It is posted in the hallway. We realize everyone has different tastes and activities may be missing from the list. A few of these are the following. Giuseppe's is an open mic the second Tuesday of the month at 7. The Grafton Library has a program called How to Use Libby, which is the library reading app, on April 20th from 11 to 1. The Brunswick Library has their Herb Club on April 17th at 2 p.m. Cherry Plain Square on April 13th has live music, and the Grafton Historical Society meeting and presentation is April 17th at 7 p.m. And we can certainly get these posted on our website and other places that will garner attention. We have a director's report from Lisa Overrocker, the director of the Everett Wager Center. She's saying the center is open 5 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 to noon. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 to 3. Lunch continues to be served on both of those days only. Our dishwasher is fixed, and we now have a permanent cook at the center. A few highlights of what is happening this month at the center. Tomorrow, the 9th, Grafton seniors have their membership meeting at 10, and we have entertainment at 12:30. Brian Zakel will be there to perform. On the 16th, Cornell Cooperative Extension will be there with their Eat Smart presentation at 11. In the afternoon after lunch, we have our monthly birthday celebration. Thursday, the 25th, is bingo at 12:30. And every Monday and Friday, we have chair yoga at 10 a.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do cardio drumming at 9:30. Wednesdays, we have strings and things. Seniors come with their own projects and work while having conversation with their friends. We do have a lot of yarn, knitting needles, and a few sewing machines that can be used while you're there. The attendance numbers for the Senior Center continue to grow. Please stop and give us a try. Respectfully submitted, Lisa Overrocker, Director. Yes, thank you. And you know what I'm seeing is missing from our list is you. For Laura to give a report. We have hired a youth director, Laura Basayo. Right. Yes, she had her ACL repaired, so she's on crutches. But she has developed a really eye-catching flyer to introduce her concept of what the program will be, and we're expecting really good things from Laura and looking forward to working with her to get the youth program off the ground again. Yeah, by next meeting she should be. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, under communications received, we have a letter and research on recording and streaming town meetings. Mr. Loveday, who is here this evening, did a nice presentation for the board defining what he did as far as looking into town hall streaming. And it's ironic because Mr. Danaher sent us a link to town hall streams.
Yeah.
And so
we're working out good for East Greenbush. The one thing, Mr. Loveday, if you read section 103F, you don't have to have streaming. Just want you to understand that. Because they understand some towns, some municipalities don't have the money to do it. So you should stream to the extent it's practicable and you have the funds to pay for it. So I just wanted to point that out. It doesn't mandate you have to do it no matter what.
Right. But it seems, I think you have it in Petersburg, yes, Councilwoman? Yeah.
So I stopped at a guy's house on my way up here tonight and was looking for the streaming on his TV.
Okay.
For tonight's meeting.
Right.
So I think you should have
streaming? Okay.
Yeah, as long as they have the money to do it, they can, but I saw that one part that says you have to do it.
They have plenty of money.
If I tell you you can't interrupt, am I going to hear about it later?
All right. But East Greenbush uses that outfit, and they've had good success with it.
So I think that's a direction we want to pursue. And I appreciate all the work you did on that, definitely. I know you had a nice visit with the town clerk when you came in to survey the scene here, so I appreciate that very much. I'm sure we all do. We had a letter from the assessor requesting board approval to upgrade heating and cooling in his little office. So I'm sure we can address that.
Emergency motion.
Yeah, to make sure we can get that taken care of. And then we have a letter from the Postal Service regarding post office repairs. We received this over the weekend. The post office is concerned that we haven't made the repairs that we need to make to the front landing and the deck and the stairs. So basically this letter said they're going to step in and do the work themselves and charge the town accordingly with engineers and architects. And in response to this, I went over it with Building and Codes Inspector, Mr. Wutkowski. I immediately wrote a letter back to them asking for a grace period until April 30th. It's a very simple repair. It's already been determined that the structure underneath the landing is in good shape. So I've just asked their consideration in letting us have a little bit of extra time to put that together. But their letter is here.
They didn't answer back.
They haven't answered yet, no, because this just came, their letter came.
Right.
But we do need permission from them because they've cautioned us to take no action to make the repair at this time, as such may result in charges being assessed to you for both your contractor and the contractor hired by the Postal Service. So hopefully I'll hear back from Jessica O'Connor is her name with the Postal Service, and she'll give us that bit of grace. I'll let the board know when we can get it fixed.
I talked to the supervisor this morning. The cupola on the senior center blew off over the winter. So I did talk to Travis back there. He was the one who did the roof on the post office for us. He's going to look at the cupola, see what we need, all the metal and structure we have. The louvers are pretty well broken. And he's interested in doing the repair on the post office steps. It's just the weather. If you really could do anything, it's the weather. So
right.
It is a simple repair. We need some new decking on it. There may be some putting a couple more supports underneath, but it seems pretty solid. They just wore out, the boards. So. And there will be no change in historic quality of the building because we're not changing anything. We're just replacing what's there. 5-quarter decking, which is there now.
So let's hope we get that little bit of grace period and get it done in time. Okay. Under new business?
I'm talking with Jerry. Can I help him to get security cameras for outside and see what for the buildings? Because if you have any vandalism, we have nothing to. Because the one camera that is for outside, it doesn't work.
I believe it's very important for the highway.
I do.
We have millions of dollars of equipment over there that need to be looked at. Today's day and age, somebody falls at the recycling. It's he said, she said. So I think it's a good thing to have. And it's relatively reasonable.
Does the town have any company, do you guys have any suggestions of companies to contact?
There've been a few over the years that we've talked to. Eric Bucket, right?
He did my system up to school. It's a great system.
Who else? Anybody else?
There's a lot of them out there.
Okay.
Researchers. So.
Okay.
Okay. Any other new business? All right, under old business, we have an AIT update. You want to take care of that, Vic?
They were in here last week. They installed our new server. They have sent me emails. They have set up accounts for all the, everybody's department. We have new email accounts. Once they are up and running, and I'm sure they're running, I will get them posted to the Facebook or website and such. We will keep our Spectrum accounts active so that anything that is going to Spectrum will go to our new email address. We will forward them for a period of 3 to 6 months so that we're not missing out on them for people that have the old addresses, give you guys time to update your contact information with whoever, contractors and such. Let's see what else. We do have the new laptop for the conference room. There'll be user accounts for planning board, town board, planning board, town board, and then I'll have a guest account, where we can go in and like if a citizen needs their email printed, they can come in, we can offer that service to them. They can get on there, sign into their email, and they don't have access to our server. That's just strictly an outside account. The court stays separate. They are still on their own line, because court administration has their own system and security. Same thing with the ambulance. They have access to our internet only. They won't be part of what's on the server, what's backed up to the server. They will be here tomorrow to do work with the assessor's office and the tax collector. And then hopefully it'll just be bookkeeping. And I don't know how far they got with you the other day. So that's where we stand right now. Tomorrow I think we'll get a lot farther. They have been Johnny on the spot, phone calls. Actually, they called me yesterday and said, your server's offline, can you please go check it for us? I came out, we were able to get it right back up and running, so they're monitoring this stuff and the security and stuff. I mean, they're right on it. Two other things, we had a phone quote through AIT and we had one through Spectrum. Is that anything you guys are interested in pursuing now, or would you like to just wait? So that I can let these people know that, so we're not leaving them paying their folks.
Phone quote.
For the upgrade to the phone system, Spectrum sent theirs last month. I gave it to you at the last town board meeting. The one from AIT was, I think, 2 days after a town board meeting, and I sent it to you all. It may be something you guys just want to wait until we get, because we're going through town hall streaming, we're going through this, we're going through that. You guys might want to just wait and upgrade later. But if I can just let them have an answer one way or the other.
Right now, the phone system is functioning.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe wait and discuss it at budget time, if we want to make a change.
And then also, just so you know, AIT does offer security cameras. So that might be another place you could get a quote from.
There you go. Did you hear that? Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Vicki. We went over the post office repair status. Town hall cleaning bid status, we're still going month to month with Sharon Lisi. She just recently cleaned it. It's, that's working well. We need to discuss whether or not we're going to move with a different company with that, or continue on a month-to-month basis with Mrs. Lisi. The senior center, what's that?
I said, we really haven't had anybody else.
No. The senior center contract renewal. We are just about to enter into a 3-year renewal with Rensselaer County for the Everett Wager Senior Center. My understanding is it's up for a vote tomorrow night.
County Ledge approves it tomorrow night, sent to you for approval next month.
Right. So we'll have it to renew in a timely fashion. Yes, a 3-year contract. And then the last order of old business tonight that I have is the ethics board vacancy, which I see we have 2 members here. Would you like to address that?
We've conducted interviews and we have a couple more to go, so
Okay.
we're going to need a little more time.
All right, gotcha. All right, any other old business?
The highway department submitted you guys a bid for a new truck. I'm sorry if you don't have the updated agenda, but I did print it.
Okay. We got it. Old business.
Yeah, no, I'd happily explain it to everybody in the entire town why we want to upgrade a 2002 salt truck. So put it in equation, what does your 2002 Silverado look like, or your Honda Civic, okay? So the truck is very updated with tires, brakes, steering components. That stuff, safety is not necessarily the issue. The issue coming up is the cost of the rust that's coming on it, on the entire thing, from the chassis to the cab. There's a ton of miles on it. It's a municipality truck, so there's a lot of idle time for ditching and things. So the motor's getting tired. Transmission is, luckily, Jeremy that drives the truck is phenomenal in a truck. The guy's unbelievable. So is Jimmy, drives a lot. Make no mistake, Jimmy is way more than a fire department. So that being said, we spec'd out a new one. You know, the new truck is a year and a half out, which would put this old 2002 at roughly 25 years of service with a municipality. The town bought it used. So I'm proposing a new one, an International, not a lot of frills. In fact, I stripped it down quite a bit. Added some stainless steel box and things just to longevity, so we don't have to replace that as long as it's well taken care of. It's on county bid. All the equipment is on county bid. It's pretty much the same trucks that the county and the state are buying, the same equipment. It's nothing nothing crazy. In fact, we were able to save about $35,000 off the truck because a couple years ago we relifed a stainless steel sander that we can reuse in this particular unit. And it won't even remotely affect tax dollars. Like, we've been working on, the board and myself have been working on this project for quite a while verbally, and even quite a while I've been getting prices. So everything is as much on, I just think it's time and hopefully the other truck doesn't break down, and when this one comes in, we'll auction off the old truck. You know, it's not worth a lot. I already talked to the dealer. He kind of cringed when I asked him about trading it in. So it's just it served the town well, but it's just 25 years old. And the new one, we should get 20 years out of it. The state, I've been to schooling. The state recommends get rid of them every 8 to 10 years, so we're slightly overdue. And like I said, it's not even going to remotely affect taxes. I'm not raising taxes for this. We have the money. So it's not a problem as far as financially. And I realize now is not the time to answer any questions probably, but I gladly will if anybody has a question, whether it be a spec or how we're going to pay for it or anything else. Everybody in this room and in this entire town knows that I'm always willing to answer your question. So anybody's got a question on it, please come see me. I would gladly sit down with you and spend as much time as you want until we're comfortable. $277,000.
Oh, that's cheap.
It's
I know.
yeah, I know. It rocked me back on my heels because the original truck I spec'd out was up over 300. And
300,000 on normal.
yeah, and to put it into perspective, the town of Grafton has a 2018 out there. This truck is super close in specs, and that truck was 217. And then we all live in this new world of COVID. That's why it's so much more. So I can't help that, but I don't think waiting any longer is the right thing to do either. Because if we have a catastrophic breakdown with that truck that we've got, now we're into replacing the truck and fixing a truck that's not worth a ton of money. So that's where I stand with that.
There's no sense waiting. They're going up again next year.
That's what I mean, and the emissions. My God, the emissions are, anybody that's in this room that is in the world of diesels, generally when you see a truck broke down on the side of the road, these newer ones, it's emissions. And that is exactly why I did not want to replace this truck, because of that. But the right thing to do is replace the truck, update it, because it's just the world we live in. I don't care if it's your Silverado, I don't care what vehicle it is. We need to do something before they force us into going electric. But on a serious note with that, yeah, we need something under warranty, and yeah, they're just going up again and again and again. I mean, every manufacturer is continuously, it doesn't matter which manufacturer, they continuously have, and the guys in this room that have bought trucks or fire trucks or anything else have got the add-on costs. I mean, we've all seen it. Who thought a new pickup truck would be $100,000 for a new, we all see it. So
Jared, the front of the Allegiance trucks bid, it says $277,201.
Yep.
But there's a ZWAC add-on in the back for $116.
That's a total of 277.
That is the total.
That's
okay.
the complete truck. That's plow, wing, dump body, turnkey, and that includes them plumbing up our existing sander into the new truck. So it's literally, that's disco lights, everything.
So Allegiance works with ZWAC to determine the
Yeah.
whole package?
And Allegiance and ZWAC is pretty much where the county and everybody, all the surrounding towns are buying all their stuff.
I
So
see
it's,
they're on-
it's
on
pretty
the
much the
website,
standard, pretty much the standard truck. You know, obviously we put a few things in, gear ratios and stuff that work better for the mountain. But otherwise, it's just, it's this, it's a big number, but that's why we've been, the council and I have been working for a little bit here to figure out how we're gonna pay for it and make sure it's the right deal. But yeah, everything is getting so much more expensive that, I mean, even over the last 4 years, the price of tires have doubled, and that's literally doubled. So
Okay.
that's where I'm at with that, folks.
All right, thank you. All right, any other old business?
At last month's meeting, they talked about the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Is there any even talk thinking about doing that?
Well, it's up to them. We are totally in control of that. The municipality is in control, so we need to figure out how we want to proceed with that. I think it's a great idea.
It is.
I think one at maybe the store and one up here a little bit at the senior center. Yeah, crosswalks with lights, flashing lights or whatever to let people go through. Sidewalks is another.
But that's a state.
Yeah, I don't know if sidewalks would be state or not. I know crosswalks is.
We got
completely-
stuff with it in other municipalities. We worked with the state and they found us some money, but we were responsible for them and paid it all.
Right. But
I do
crosswalks
like
is
the
a great idea.
crosswalks.
I do too, I do too.
To start.
All right, any other, oh, I'm sorry.
I asked them about the ventilation, where we did the engineer for the ventilation for the vault,
Mm.
and you don't have, is Wayne Bonesville not available anymore? Is that what I understood from the comment?
He works privately, he's not the county
He
engineer.
works for Ford now. Joe Taliska is the county engineer.
They were just gonna have him on the side, you know, not for the county. But did he ever? I don't know if he was ever.
I don't think he was contacted about the
Right.
vault, no, I talked to him or reached out to him briefly about the post office stairs.
It was asked in the meeting that we were gonna do, the vault was gonna, if we could ask, we asked him if we could do that. The vault also at that meeting, the last meeting, or not the last meeting, the meeting before.
Do you, newly minted member of Building and Grounds, I'll say what I said behind closed doors. Go get them, you know, you're very good at that stuff, Councilwoman Green, so
I
definitely.
have a gentleman who kind of he didn't cold call me, he knew we had an ad out for it before,
Yes,
and he stopped in for other town business. He looked through it thoroughly, he had some good suggestions, he's looking into whether he thinks it is a project that him and a friend can do. And he was looking into the concerns that Tom had about the fire blowback and that stuff. He sent me a letter yesterday, I think I got it. So I'm waiting to hear back from him and see if his proposal is actually, looks solid and sensible. So, but when the time I worked there, he spent probably a half hour, 45 minutes here with me. And the time that I worked with him, he was very thorough and very pleasant to work with, and he admitted he didn't have all the answers, but he said that he could get the answers, and he crawled around in the insulation in the attic and did all kinds of stuff, so. I'll see where he comes in and we'll go from there.
all right, any other old business? The rescue squad that. Go
I
get
wish
them,
Tom
Becky.
could see.
That's what I was gonna say, I know what you're gonna tell me, okay.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, feel free, that's definitely that.
I just love to take over a 4-year-old project.
That's good.
Yeah.
I bet she can bring it home.
Right.
You know, honestly, I would appreciate your eyes on that because I know you have those set of skills. Any other old business?
Did you meet with the investment advisor, Heidi?
I've got a phone call into him, but no, no, he's got, it's called the VIP program. Any other older business? Okay. All right, we're on. One more.
the AUD, the audit, annual audit for the
Yes,
town.
it was filed and certified by the state February 11th. I don't have a paper copy of it. I'm endeavoring to get that. And that goes on file with the town clerk's office.
And the town books available for public review. I don't think we did that this year, did we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, I don't know about what we did.
Yeah, for public. Doesn't the town, don't the books have to be made available for the town for public review if they want to be?
I know the public's always welcome to look at whatever they want, but the mandate for it, it's for the council to look at all the books and certify that we did it.
And we did. The books do not have to be made available after?
Not for you guys have to review them. If you want to make them available for the town, you can, but I don't think there's a mandatory aspect to that. Like, these days, they're open for the town to review. That's for you guys. But while you're talking, I'll check and make sure.
I don't know if it's worded when you do them. I don't know. I could be very wrong, but I just yelled at the judges. That'd be out one night.
Judges' stuff has to be reviewed by these guys too.
Right.
We did.
But I think, yeah, the internal, whatever that audit was done, but I thought we had to have them.
I'm checking it, but.
My time here, I've never seen anybody come in and do
Yes,
that.
in the past, we've always, that resolution has always said, the books have been audited, and they will be available for public review for 15 minutes before the next meeting. We've always done it, I'm not saying it's a law,
No,
but
I
we've
know,
always
but-
done it.
And to have
And I would
anybody
always
come
been
in
the
and
one
do
here
it.
with the books the 15 minutes early. Whether it's a law or whether it's just something the town did,
No,
I don't
but if
know.
somebody wanted to, then
Right.
you would have to provide them more time.
Okay, can we move on to public comments?
Yes.
All right, public comment is privilege of the floor. It's limited to 5 minutes per person. Be mindful the public comment portion of the meeting is privileged. All comments and statements shall be directed to the town board. Please refrain from any personal attacks, name calling, or derogatory public comments toward individuals. All right, who'd like to start? Pat Bush.
Hi. I just wanted to thank Jerry. Thank you for cleaning up the graffiti on our stop sign there. I asked you a couple months ago, and you did it the next day, and I couldn't say thank you because you were out last time. And I just want to say, when you do recover, a little bit farther down, there's another sign with graffiti on it. And I don't know if you use, I don't know if you use the same stuff to clean it off as you did on the stop sign, but if you could take care of
We'll
that
figure it out. It's
when
not a
you,
big deal. I don't like that stuff either, so.
when you get, when you
That's an easy
recover.
one to fix.
Yeah. And the other thing was, I was just wondering what you're doing with the deputy clerk's position. Are you gonna fill that? Because
That's her. That's
Who's
not
that?
them.
The town clerk makes her own deputy.
No, but I understand that. But, all right, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I wanted to make a suggestion that, is that position really necessary? I mean, that's money you could put back in the budget. I mean, how necessary is that position? They eliminated the secretary to the supervisor, so apparently that wasn't a problem, just to get rid of that one. So, I mean, is the deputy clerk's position really available? I mean, necessary, not available. I know it's available. Is that necessary to have that position? Can you just eliminate that and put that back into the budget, that money?
I do believe there's a law that says that I am entitled to a deputy town clerk. I can have up to 3. After 3, you need town board approval. That isn't a law. It's not.
Okay, so if it's a law, it doesn't mean you have to do it. I mean, if you want to save money for the town, and like I said, and you can have up to 3, so what do they do, hang around here at town hall? So
Well,
when
if I was
people
in
come
a
in,
community like Brunswick or someplace like that needed 3 town
Okay,
clerks,
but-
I could appoint up to 3, and after that, I would have to have approval by the town.
because it's a law, you have to. I mean, you could just do away with that, you don't really need it. I mean, just like they eliminated the secretary's position. They just pick and choose. That,
The supervisor still has her deputy.
well, not a secretary, somebody to be
You're
here
asking
and
about a
act.
deputy.
Right. Deputy, I also said, if you listen to what I said, just like they eliminated the position for secretary, that was eliminated. It could be the same thing for the deputy clerk. You really don't need a deputy clerk. You have a clerk, a very competent clerk, who does a lot of stuff, you don't need a deputy clerk. Law or not, you could bypass the law and save money for the town. That's it. That's just pick and choose. They pick and choose what they want to do all the time. Exactly, it is my opinion, you're right. Wow, thank you for answering and saying something. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're making progress.
Thank you, Pat. All right, who else from the floor tonight? Kathy Boyer.
A deputy town clerk is very important. If Vicky's on vacation for a week and somebody dies in town, you do have to have a deputy town clerk, recording clerk to sign the death certificate. Can't wait a week for Vicky to come back from vacation, so a deputy town clerk does that job along with many others, so it's something that's very important. Just thought I'd clear the air on that. It's not
Well, the
pick and
deputy
choose.
town clerk isn't always available, so I've experienced that myself.
Within a reasonable length of time, if the
Well,
town clerk's on vacation the whole time, the deputy town clerk doesn't have to be available that instant, but I'm sure they're available in a reasonable length of time.
You can say the same thing for a secretary.
Okay, let's keep it directed up.
You can say the same thing for a secretary when she's not here.
It's Kathy's.
Same thing.
Yeah, please, I'd like to do my own speaking, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't interrupt you.
Do you have more?
Well, you could have.
I wasn't rude enough to do that, so you just
Do you have
stay
something
over
more
there.
to say?
Yes, I do. Listening to last month's meeting, you do read that no personal attacks, but there was so many personal attacks going on at the last meeting, I don't know why you don't say something. More personal attacks going on to the town attorney than anybody. So I don't understand why we read this thing about no personal attacks, be mindful of this and that and the other thing, and then we just allow it to go on. So
I think if you listen closely to that meeting, I attempted to rein it in a bunch of times, but it was a robust attendance. People had a lot of opinions about what was going on, what was about to go on. So you hear me gabbling quite often. You hear me saying, come on guys, come on guys, come on guys, particularly during the signing in of Councilwoman Green. So I tried my best to get it under control, but we had a very, very passionate crowd. So I appreciate your comments.
I did watch the whole video. Thank you.
Anyone else from the floor tonight? Yes, Liz Dubacher.
So this is my first time here, and I'm enjoying it.
Good.
I've been a resident of Grafton my entire life, and I want to get more involved, and I want to bring the community together, but I also want to bring others to Grafton. I think we have so many gems of Grafton that isn't just our board and isn't just our highway. We have the Peace Pagoda, we have the Soul Fire Farm, we have myself, the Berkshire Bird Paradise, but it isn't just myself. We are a nonprofit organization, which is all. Like, we are Grafton, and I want to bring us more together by being able to help with the community, so by being able to offer things with the youth, to come to the sanctuary and offer things at the sanctuary to be done where it brings in the youth. And I want to work more with everybody, and I want to be more a part of the town rather than just, hey, I live in Grafton, this is what I do. It's no, I am a part of Grafton. And I know we're all opinionated and we're all entitled to our opinions, but I think we do need to work together, and we do need to just keep our town going, right? Like, we need to just keep our town going, and I think everybody does pay and does do a huge role here in our town. And I do want more youth to be a part of these meetings, because as I said, this is my first time, and I'd like to fill the seats and some. I want the seats to be even more full where we have to put money into getting more seats, if that makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I
that's
also just want to
gratifying.
ask, how do I get involved? Because I don't even know when the meetings are. I was told, by Tom, hey, I want you to come, and support me and just to be able to listen. But now that I am here, I want to know these things. I want to know what is going on with the library. I want to know, is there a way for all of us to not only come here once a month, but be able to throw in fun ideas that we have, just to be able to say, hey, let's do a fall fest like we did back in 2019 when we did have the fire in Grafton. Tom was able to allow the Bird Paradise to use the old Grafton School for a fundraiser, and that was a hit. We had so many people that continued to ask, when are you doing another one? And we were able to bring in not only money to help with the fundraising for the sanctuary, but we also helped other people with vendors. So it was kind of like, what if we did something in the sense of a fall fest that brings in all of these farmers and brings all of us together, and we are selling things as a community, so it kind of helps the town, but it also helps all of us in the town as well. Just an idea. That's it.
Great idea. Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Liz.
you.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, who else from the floor tonight?
I'll beat you to it, man. So I generally don't speak much at this, but as a citizen, not as my job, that everybody knows what I do. Yeah, I broke my foot. And this is not about me, it's actually about the rest of the town. As much as we all bicker in this room and around town and yip yap and BS and all this arguing amongst each other, the amount of people that have reached out to me, and most everybody in this room, in fact, if I needed anything, it wasn't because of my job, it's because they're generally good people in this town. I don't even say goofy stuff like this ever. But it was a huge amount of overwhelming. I know you all are not as blessed as I am to see Jimmy Goyer's face most mornings. But you don't know, and he doesn't even understand how unbelievably it was when you're 4 in the morning, you're laying in a heap. No, and you can't even, you're just done. And here comes fortunately I work with Jeremy and Joe on the ambulance squad. They came and picked me up. Jimmy got me to the ER. They all knew what to do. Ingrid was on top of it, like, boom. I wasn't even out of the hospital. She's on the phone. What can we do? We got to get the paperwork started. So when you guys are all arguing in this room and fighting at each other and butting heads, remember one thing, that your neighbor actually is a really awesome person. We just don't always agree. Even people pretty recent that I don't always get along with, try to sit down with and just make stuff work, seriously. Like, we're nitpicking over a lot of stuff. And the town generally, like Liz says, she sees a lot of folks. The town generally is full of awesome folks. I cannot tell you by the hundreds, and I'm not exaggerating, by the hundreds, people I haven't heard from in so long. As soon as they hear it, what can I do? Whether it's bringing over a soda, whatever it is. So I guess as goofy as I sound saying this, it is a positive thing that as much as the person you might be sitting next to right now in this room, you don't agree with a damn thing they said, but they will still step up and help you if you're in need. And I guess there's some positive about that, because it's even if something was a little late, like, Jesus, the ambulance was a little late or whatever it is, and believe me, I love them guys. I know what they do on a daily basis. They're out there trying, they're doing their best for everybody. So I guess just remember the next time you're arguing with someone, when you actually are in need, they're right there, So your neighbors are pretty good folks, even though one might wear a blue hat, one wears a red hat. Seriously, who gives a shit? It's flat out, if you're in need, your neighbor's gonna be there. And I literally am sitting in a room. I'll bet 95% of you in this room reached out in case I needed anything. And it was not because they needed a favor, it's just because they generally are a good person. So that's that.
Well said.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Very nice, Jared. I'm glad you're on the mend.
Yeah, and it's what I mean. It's about everybody in this town. This is not about me. I'm fine. I am fine for sure.
Okay, anyone else from the
You
room?
can disagree with people, you don't have to hate them. I mean, I don't hate anybody, but I do disagree with a lot of people.
Not you, Don, I know.
We have Andy Crandall in the back.
I just want to recommend to the board that Jared gets that new truck as long as I don't have to drive it.
Okay, anyone else tonight?
Yeah, as long as you talk about new trucks, look into the extended warranty. It's a fair amount of money, but I've used mine a couple times already. It's worth it.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay,
Yeah.
Doug Larock.
Just want to, with the last windstorm, the wind kept me awake most of the night, and I'm laying there listening to my scanner. And I think Chief Boyer deserves a huge round of applause. He was all over the place all night long, taking care of this town. I think he probably went 30 hours or better without sleep. I think the town owes a lot to Jimmy Boyer.
Thank you.
You're our new mayor.
There you go. All right, anyone else before we call on Ann Calabra? Okay, all right, wrap it up.
Okay, I always have a couple things. One, if Jared could please put J. Hakes Road on the paving list. They're terrible. The potholes, you got buses going through there all the time. When the road's wet, it's like driving on marshmallow. It's really bad. And I'm driving all over the road trying to avoid the potholes. So I'm sure the buses and the kids on the buses would also appreciate that being paved. And I realize it's like 3.5 miles long, and it's going to be expensive, but that's a really horrible road. The post office floor, I realize the post office just told you that, stay away from it. But you guys heard about this like for the last year, and like since January, February, you guys, we'll take a look at it. And last month, we'll fix it. We're just gonna fix it. You had a whole month, it never happened. So I don't understand why. It should have been, you said it should be only a couple boards, and we'd just replace a couple boards and hold it over. And it didn't happen. I'm kind of disappointed in that. Because basically, I felt in Schenectady this weekend. I had to go back and tell the people, listen, you have a lawsuit waiting to happen if you don't fix this. I'm going to tell you guys the same thing. If someone falls through there because you didn't do those 2 boards or 3 boards, you're putting the town at risk. Okay? The power out thing, the emergency. Most of us here were pretty lucky. We didn't lose power for more than 5 or 6 hours. Some people lost it for a couple days in further away. We've heard before that we have a emergency plan, but I didn't hear anything. There was nothing posted. There was no phone calls. There's no phone tree. There's nothing to say, hey guys, you are 89 years old. You have no heat. What can we do to help you? I didn't hear anything anywhere about that. So I think that's something that we ought to work on, because the town has a lot of old people. The younger people can handle it a little better. The older people can't. So one of my people had their temperature go down to 51, and they were feeling like they were hypothermic. They could not stop shaking. That's a life or death thing. He had no phone. How's he supposed to get help? So, and lastly, residents show up here because we care, okay? We want to talk to you guys because you are supposed to represent us. And we think up what we want to say. I know I work hard on it every month so that I have something to say that's constructive. It does. I know you guys don't always feel it's constructive, but it's constructive to me. So we have a lot of people here now, but we want to feel that what we say has some sort of impact and it means something. We should not hear that what we have to say is horse shit. We should not hear that you don't care, that you don't care about what we have to say. Because we took the time out of our lives to be here, and we're here every month. We're here year after year. And if you're just not going to listen, you're going to lose all these people. And to the point where they may just move out. Where's it going to leave the town if you have nobody that cares anymore? Okay? So it's obnoxious, it's rude, and it's dismissive to say things like that. It's unconscionable that people would think it. If they're going to think that, they should not be on the town council. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
I'm going to say one thing briefly. To that end, with the question about the road being paved 3 miles long, I keep going back to this, you'll love this, American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA it's called, and I'm just wondering, is there any chance that we can get some free money, right? I mean, I'm not suggesting that Dollar General comes in here, that's just awful. There are other things, businesses that are awful to come in. Look at Brunswick, there are things that have happened that are not that great. And so I'm not suggesting that. I'm not suggesting we have a huge housing structure come in here. That's awful too, I love the woods here, I absolutely do. And so my question is, are we missing something? Like, is there some federal money that we have not found, and isn't that money going to dry up? It's for infrastructure. Could it be used for roads so that the town, county, state doesn't have to pay for that? Is there something we're missing where we can get free money from the federal or state government? I just want to put that out there, and it's not the last time I'll say it, because I feel like there is stuff there is money to get, there are funds. And that's why I mentioned the confidential secretary for the supervisor, because I felt that she or he could help look for that money. And the great thing about those grants is we don't have to pay them back, and we don't have to raise our taxes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anyone else before we close public comment? Yes, Travis Coker.
Yes, I don't know where we actually ended up leaving off with it. At the time of the post office bid, I was completely booked and also physically incapacitated. I'd be more than willing to submit an up-to-date bid at a reasonable time interval, something for the town board just to take into consideration. In the middle of winter, you're not going to find too many contractors, A, who don't already have their winter work lined up, and B, who are willing to go outside and replace deck boards in -10 for whatever purpose, Just throwing it out there, I'd still be interested in getting it done in a timely manner, something I can submit. Instead of going through engineers, architects, let's drag it out some more and get 10 other people involved. That don't really matter. I'm a local resident. I've done 2 major jobs for you guys. You know the quality of work. You know we're fully insured, and you know that I live a mile and a half down the road. Just keep it local and let's get it done. If it is a safety issue, I want to do it. I'll do it for free if it's really that big of a safety issue and that big of a deal. Just throwing it out there for the town's sake and as a taxpayer.
Yes, thank you for that. Part of my letter that I sent back to the Postal Service said, I'd like to respectfully request that the notification of enforcement dated March 28th be suspended for 1 month to allow the town to make the necessary repairs with a qualified and insured local general contractor who has worked on this project in the past, worked on this property in the past, most recently completely replacing the roof of the building.
Thank you.
I ask you to also consider that the building is an historical asset to Grafton, as it served as one of the early one-room schoolhouses that were common in rural areas of eastern New York State in the late 19th and early 20th century. I mention this just to assure you that its upkeep and appearance are important to Grafton's history, in the hope that you would favorably consider our request to make the repairs ourselves with the historical importance of the building in mind. And I also say that we concur with the post office that it needs to remain in good repair and tenantable condition. So I can't imagine it's going to be out of the sky-high bill that's going to be restrictive of what we can pay for the project. So I feel as though we need to get it done.
I got an estimate for the cupola. I did walk around all the buildings in town. There's some siding that was blown off the senior center. Everything else, knock on wood, survived the storm. So we're very fortunate.
Yeah, I
went
appreciate
down
that
to Stephen
very
Town
much.
and Cherry Plains and stuff. It was complete roofs ripped off the buildings. And they're still without power.
Yeah, we left
Technically, at this point, you have to wait for the government's approval
Correct.
to fix that post office.
But Travis can have an estimate and be ready to go the minute they say yes to get it done. Which is, I wasn't replacing them when it's freezing and wet down there. We're gonna do it on the weekend. I talked to Jared, one of his employees, were gonna bring down the bucket loader so we could throw the old wood in. It's the decking. It's not gonna fall through by any stretch of your imagination unless you're an elephant to walk in there or something. So we did look at it and it is still safe. The boards are worn, just like a barn, you know. Cattle and the horses keep walking on them, they got bows in them.
Okay. It just has a little more gravity now because the post office is, you know, wanting us to, yeah, they're demanding we fix it immediately. Or that we don't, that we stay away from it. But I'm asking for them to please just give us that little bit of leeway to get it done with a local insured general contractor. All right, anything else from the floor? Nancy Couch.
Just one quick thing. I had mentioned last month about the senior center's ceiling, and I'm just wondering, have you guys decided what you're gonna do with that? That's been like that for 3-4 years now.
Not to my knowledge.
I would like to see that, they're taking another 3 years on. It would seem that the town could have somebody go in, it wouldn't probably cost that much, to at least fix that one spot. It's right over their head. Is there a problem that it's not getting fixed, or is there something that we can do to get it fixed?
I'll have Travis look at it when we do the inspection. Needs a coat of paint, spray. Maybe a little spackle.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is maybe even a new piece of sheet rock or something.
Yeah, that was a leak also. So that was repaired, but I repaired it.
Okay, anyone else from the floor? All right, okay, thank you for all public comment. Okay, we're now moving on to motions and resolutions. We have Resolution 43 of 2024, which is a local law to supersede the Whitehall Doctrine and the Doctrine of Incompatibility with respect to the positions of town council member and building inspector, code enforcement officer in the town of Grafton. Is it protocol to read the law at this point, or?
No, it's protocol to basically read the resolution.
Okay.
Unless it's comfort to, well, this one's not that long. Who wants to move it? Who wants to move the resolution?
I'll make a motion to move the resolution.
Then if you would read it and then give a second.
Pierce is making a motion to move it.
Yeah.
He's going to read it.
Resolution number 43 of 2024, resolution to approve as to form and substance proposed local law number 1 of 2024, superseding the Whitehall doctrines and the doctrine of incompatibility with respect to the positions of town council member and building inspector, code enforcement officer of the town of Grafton. Whereas the town of Grafton is desirous of superseding common law Whitehall doctrine and doctrine of incompatibility with respect to the positions of town council member and building inspector, code enforcement officer in the town of Grafton. And whereas the town board has reviewed proposed local law number 1 of the year 2024 attached here too, and whereas such local law appears appropriate as to form and substance, and a public hearing having been held to consider public comments on such proposed local law. Now therefore be it resolved that proposed local law number 1 of the year 2024 is hereby approved as to form and substance. Be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized to and directed to file a certified copy of such local law with the office of the New York State Secretary of State. Motion made by me.
Do you have a second?
Second by
I'll second.
roll call.
Councilwoman Green?
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShane?
Yes. There's gonna be no discussion?
Councilman Husky? Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
Supervisor Gunner.
Yes.
Resolution carried. But don't forget, unless you have something else to pay the bills, but before that, can you help out poor Jared?
With the truck. We need to make a motion.
Well, first he would like you to make a motion to declare as surplus the following. Say what it is.
2010 F-350 pickup truck and plow, and a 1974 white farm tractor.
And he would ask that those items then be sold through online public auction under his direction and supervision. Would somebody make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Tom will make the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have 3 seconds.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShane,
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilman Kuski,
Yes.
Supervisor Gunner.
Yes.
Now, the question was, Jared, did you want to move the other one tonight or next month? When did you want to do
I
that?
would prefer to do it tonight, just so we could, because
Because you're afraid of losing it and...
I'm not afraid of the vote, I'm not afraid of the approval, if everybody understands we should get it. The only reason is there are only a few slots left with
You're afraid to
international
lose
to
it.
get. Yeah, we're gonna lose it,
You-
but I want everybody to know what I mean by losing.
That's why he's moving it this way as an emergency instead of just doing it the normal way, which is a resolution and all that other stuff. So just to piggyback on what you're trying to do, the reason they're doing the purchase this way is they're piggybacking on Onondaga County's public bid
Correct.
that was used for this item. So that's why you don't have to do a formal RFP and everything else. And now I guess, having said all that, would you like to ask one of the board members to move that resolution, or move that motion?
I would like to move that motion, please.
I will make the motion.
Tom has made the motion to purchase the vehicle as specified as an emergency and a piggyback on Onondaga County. Do you have a second?
Yes.
We have a second.
Councilwoman Green,
No.
Councilwoman DeShane,
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt,
Yes.
Councilman Kuski,
Yes.
and Supervisor Gunner.
Yes.
Was that it, you
Can I
guys?
say why I voted no?
You don't have to, but you can.
I voted no because I have not been able to figure out the financial part of it, like the supervisor's report and any of he said, we say we have money for it, but I have not been able to confirm that, so that is why I voted no for it, because that's I think part of the biggest responsibility is to be financially responsible. And I just felt that I did not have enough information or confirmation of finance.
And that's a legitimate reason. As you know, though, the town has a fund carryover.
Well,
That
everybody
expenses
says
to-
that, but we don't know what fund each pot is.
I
That is
understand.
fund
what-
in,
I
so-
know, I understand what
I
you're
don't
saying.
understand it, so I cannot vote on that.
Okay.
That's a lot of money, and I'm not sure where that's all.
What about a new truck?
Motion was carried.
All right, I don't think we have any other business.
I was trying to remember, did anybody else have anything else that was an emergency?
I don't believe so.
Okay, all right.
I don't believe so. All right, I'd like to make a motion to pay the bills as audited. Town clerk, I'm seeing these as vouchers 115 through 151 in the amount of $185,771.41. Is that accurate? Right. Okay, back to business. Vouchers 115 through 151 for $185,771.41.
Correct.
That's accurate. All right, I'd like to make a motion to pay the bills as audited. May I have a second?
Second.
Who was that?
Tom Legusky.
Thank you.
You can't sit in the back of the room anymore. We've got to have you up here and we'll have to make different.
I'm sorry, don't think we're making noise whenever.
No, I understand. I understand.
Councilwoman Green,
Yes.
Councilwoman DeShane?
Yes.
Councilman Hoyt?
Yes.
Councilman Woodcuski?
Yes.
Supervisor Duncan?
Yes. All right, the next meeting will be our regular town board meeting on May 13th. Although we will reserve the right to call a workshop meeting at the request of Councilwoman Green to go over the financial statements. So that might be coming. We'll advertise that accordingly. So our next meeting is the regular meeting on May 13th, 2024. We did it. Yes, we did.
Sorry.
That's all right. All right, under legislative privilege this evening, does anyone have anything that they'd like to say? All right, I'd like to take a moment to say something. I went into this meeting tonight with a different perspective about passing a local law as pertains to a council member also serving as building and code inspector. And I have to say that I was very moved by the gentlemen and ladies in the room who do business with the town of Grafton regularly and do services for people who want to build their homes in Grafton. And I feel as though they have good working relationships with our present building and code inspector. And I think it would be a disservice to those businesses that do regular business in town to upset that apple cart at this stage of the game. And I'm very gratified by the letters that were sent as well by people who couldn't be here. Now moving on to the fact that now we have a council person who is also the building and codes inspector, I feel very strongly that this board can rise above that situation, keep everything on the up and up, keep everything transparent and clear and legal. And I trust Councilman Woodcuski will recognize where the areas where his responsibilities as a town board member may conflict with his duties as building and code enforcement officer. So yes, I did change what I was fairly firm as a no vote on doing this for Grafton. I felt we had other options, but after seeing the people doing the yeoman's work of doing business in this town come forth and passionately speak about the situation we have at hand, I felt as though it was my obligation to the citizens of Grafton to do this right thing in this case. So I thank you for everyone for listening to me, and I wish the contractors that are some of the men and women I work with on a regular basis in my outside work could have heard me say that, but I trust the message will get to them. And I also take umbrage with, umbrage, is that really, I think what Chief Boyer had to say about let's put the politics aside needs to be our marching order moving forward. So that's the supervisor minute for the end of the meeting tonight. So anyone else have a legislative privilege? No? All right, that said, we need to adjourn this meeting in loving memory of Betsy Brennanstool, George Schaub, and Patricia Tilley Kennedy. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn in loving memory of those three Graftonites. May I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Aye.